It's a time for Pick It from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in the package from China we find so many weird stuff on AliExpress, and this time, yeah, we found another weird one. The home projector, the FHD support. But this is not your typical, let's say your typical like beamer or no projector. No, this is something different. This thing comes with built-in games, or better said, a game system. Nothing has been checked on the box. That was kind of weird. There is no like Wi-Fi mirroring, Android OS, or not even like say what kind of resolution. But what you're going to get is inside a game machine. And I think they made something like this unique. There's like a, let's say, a store itself that makes it and just sell it on AliExpress. You can get yourself like a projector for cheap maybe and slap a Super Console X on it, but I just wanted to see what it is, how did they pack it up and what they actually made. Because I think it's quite genius to have something like this. So here we like the projector itself. Inside we do have the remote, the power cord, and then we have like an AV out and an HDMI cable. I just needed to check it out what it is, because this is something pretty damn cool, but this is something you should like care about. So this is just your typical, let's say, projector that you can find on AliExpress or maybe your local store. Here we have like the on and off switch and all the function for basically getting into input source and like getting into the menu. At the back we're going to get ourselves like an HDMI port, headphone, AV out, and even having like a USB connection, and of course the input for the power supply. It has like 110 up to 240 volts. And also at the bottom we don't find any, let's say, strange information. Just says the model number over here, VS319. It's the LED projector. Consumption 60 watts and the lamp is a LED. You can clearly see this is not something they made in the factory itself. They implemented this part afterwards. You can see like the way how they make the holes. It's absolutely like not looking great. We have like the TF card, and better said the micro SD card. It comes with a 64 gigabyte. So comes basically with everything that you're going to need for adding your games and play it. So the next thing that we need to do is just plug it in and just see what are we going to get with the software. But let's take a close look at the specifications list. So it seems to be like, if I need to believe the seller, this thing has like a 5-layer coated lens. It got like a crazy long lifespan due of the LED. Then we have like a brightness of 3000 lumen, a resolution of Full HD or 1920 by 1080. The contrast is 3000 by 1, format size, and it has like the projection size for 32 up to 150 inches from a distance from 1 to 5 meters. Okay, so I've plugged it in, so let's power it on. When it's turning on, we're going to have like the vacuum cleaner sound. Another thing I've noticed, that it does come with a built-in speaker. So that's another very cool feature. Alright, so it's booting up, and it will automatically boot up the system inside. And at the front, what we're going to get is basically the front lens, where we can basically like adjust the sharpness, and then we have like the other one for tilting the display itself. So the beamer has been set. I don't have the special screen for it, just going to use my special Luxoflex here. But what you can see is that we're going to get ourselves the GameStick Lite 4K edition. But let's take a close look at the main menu. The name already says it, GameStick Lite 4K. So this is not a very powerful machine inside this beamer. A little bit of a bummer, because it would have like so much more potential if you can play all kinds of wicked awesome things on this. So when you're looking at the class or the platforms, here you can see that mostly it's going to be like arcade MAME, Neo Geo, 8-bit, 16-bit, handhelds up to PlayStation 1 with some flavor of Atari. PlayStation 1 I'm particularly interested in. Then we have like history, the collection or the favorites, and of course we can search for our games. What I did notice, and I really like about it, is that when you're going to look up the games, you can see like it loads up very fast. And then we have like the option choose your game. In the middle, at the top, you can see like it switches between platforms. For example, we can boot up Mortal Kombat. So let's start with benching that. Let's see how it runs on this GameStick Lite. Okay, so let's boot up the first game, and it already runs like shit. Because Mortal Kombat is just way too, let's say, advanced for this GameStick. It's absolutely like a little bit of a bummer. Absolutely unplayable. Pressing select to start, where we do have the option to go into the quick load, quick save menu and mess around with the controls, but there's nothing else we can change out. So next up, let's try some Neo Geo on this machine. Just see how it actually works.
Round 1, fight!
but you don't have any weird problems. Mortal Kombat 1 was just like an example that doesn't run at all. And playing with this freaking annoying Chinese controller, but this one is decent enough. Oh, missed it out. For the people wondering, basically this machine runs on 720p, so it's not even like hitting the full 1080p with the game stick or higher resolutions. This is just a limitation of everything. Oh boy, like how can you mess up freaking NES on this? That's such a bummer, you know, that we do have like such a bad emulation when it comes to like a lot of systems. Okay, so I wanted to get into the PlayStation 1 part, but you can just, it stutters in the freaking intro. But you can't see that it struggles everywhere. The intros, the freaking gameplay, absolutely garbage. Okay, so let's try another platform like Super NES, just to see how it runs. So far so good. See how the controls are configured. Absolutely horrible. The button mapping is absolutely garbage, but let's take a close look at the gameplay itself. So the gameplay so far I can see quite decent. Oh crap, but the gameplay isn't. Next up, let's play some Game Boy Advance. I think it's a pretty damn cool system with a lot of great games. But unfortunately, I already can hear the audio is like stuttering, having this crackling noise. So the gameplay in general is absolutely garbage. Such a bummer because GBA has a lot of like hidden gems that are pretty damn cool to play on the system like this. Yeah, and the unfortunate other thing is like we cannot change out emulators whatsoever. There's nothing we can do in the software itself. There is no upgrade whatsoever. Let's see if they mess up the Game Boy Part 2. Okay, so if I'm going to pick up my Game Boy Classic, this is the game that I'm always playing in combination with the pinball version. Oh crap. It's such a fun game, it's super basic. Collect the keys and go to the final boss. That's the only thing you need to do, or better said. Also, collect power-ups to get like the super whip. Well, let's try the device like on PlayStation 3 on the beamer. Just see how the input of the device even works and how does it look. So the next thing that we need to do is press the source button. Here you can see we have AV, USB and HDMI. So let's press OK and let's switch to the HDMI with the PlayStation. Let's see if we're going to get anything. Yep, there we have 1080i, 60 Hz, alright. So where you can see that the PlayStation 3 I'm using works very great. And yeah, of course you can basically connect all kinds of HDMI devices. Take consideration this like cheap HDMI beamer will have some limitations because of the resolution, but I think it works very well and it looks kind of cool. How I control the PlayStation 3, yeah, that's of course Captain Obvious mode with an original controller. But when it came with the built-in system, I must say that I didn't show it in the beginning of the video. It did came with some, let's say, PlayStation knockoff controllers, like the cheap chemical ones. This one was not bad at all, and I must say that it does play very well. Again, like it depends what kind of controllers you're going to get, but it is one of the only ways you can basically use this machine, because I tried some Xbox 360 like controllers and nothing works, only these Chinese PlayStation 2 versions. versions. Another thing that came with the device is of course the remote. Super convenient, so if you just want to be in your lazy chair, you want to turn it on and off, mute it, or do any other functions, you can just basically use the remote, of course. It's old school technology, so something not really fancy, but it is here, and yeah, it's convenient. And there we're going to get like the biggest issue. The reason I can really recommend it, like it's a little bit bummer that using this very bad, let's say, game system. Where there are so many solutions out there, they went for one of the cheapest ways, and that's just a bummer, because if you look at it, the quality in general, they can do so much more better. Think about if like having an S903 X3 in this thing, and you can play so much cool things, that would be like really worth it, but combined with this cheap thing, I'm not a big fan of it. The idea is cool, I give them kudos for that, but beside that, I'm not happy. But thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and it will be great to see you in the next video.